Hi, and welcome to my studio tour. I'm just coming up the stairs to where my studio is on the first floor. As you can see outside my studio, creaky stairs, outside my studio I've got lots of things I'm gathering ready for Open Studio. It's a lot of work to do before an event like this. I am in the pop-up shop, so I have got a real event. I've got lots of changes to make. Like I've got to change these mirror plates back to strings. There are things I'm changing frames for. Make sure everything's labelled, signed and ready. So that's outside the studio. I haven't got room in my studio for that sort of thing. It's only a little bedroom. And as you will see, it's pretty packed. Got my chair, fairly essential. And you'll see it's also my stepping stool if I need to access anything that I store a little bit higher up, because I have got things on all levels. All the way up, I haven't stopped yet, and up, and up, and up. And I just stand on the chair if I need any of that. I keep an awful lot of things in the studio. That's my inspiration wall. Some of these postcards I've had since I was a child. Some of them are newer, some of them are modern artists, some of them are my own photos. That wall doesn't change, that wall just stays there. It's sort of like my background, my history. I just refer to it occasionally. There are other things hanging off the sides of the wall and the edges of the pinboard. And around here on this wall, down below the big painting. And I just add to that all the time. As you can see, the latest thing I went to was the Andy Warhol Tate Modern when it reopened the other week. So I just put these little things around. These were the Lee Krasner exhibition I went to with some of the Harpenden Art girls. This is the sort of painting station. I paint on the floor. Most people are quite surprised by that. I just feel more part of what I'm doing. So I've got a lot of paints there. I've also got a lot of paints in there, all sorted into colours. I keep all sorts of things around to help me and inspire me. Pile of rag. This pile down here is probably one of the most important piles in my studio. There's lots of odds and scraps. Things I've painted on. Things I've painted a colour on. Sometimes I use them to help me get to the next step with painting. I paint in oils, pretty much always. But I do some experimenting with other things. That's what that pile is there. Those have come out of a drawer. They're all quite old, but I can use them. A little bit of inspiration from past projects, or to chop up, add into things. I do occasionally do a bit of collage. I've got a painting here that I'm hoping to get finished for Open Studio. And you'll see that at the moment it's got some pieces just placed on there of that kind of collage material, and I probably will finish it off with those. It's in its sitting phase at the moment, where it lives in the studio. I come back and have a look at it and see whether it's ready. It's got lots of other layers underneath. In fact, you can see some other examples of this painting in progress on my Instagram page. I've got some much newer or less finished paintings over here. They might look quite alarming at the moment. That's because they are completely underpaintings. I do this just to try and help something get started. It's a slow process because I do allow the layers to dry. So these are some that I've been working on during the whole lockdown time. I've got about 3 different layers at different times, some experimental bits. A lot of it will disappear underneath as time goes on. One of the themes I always like is to keep colours shining through. That's what you can see going on this painting. Little details like that. I'm playing with techniques, I'm playing with shapes, I'm playing with notions and ideas that have come from past paintings. You can see as we went around the studio, I haven't always painted completely abstract, and I don't always paint completely abstract. I do tend to get motifs and ideas from old paintings or ideas or the reading that I'm doing. I do a lot of reading. This is one of my earlier abstract pictures. You can possibly still see that it's formed from a sort of tree tunnel. It's actually Bridge Lane, if you know that, if you're a Harpenden person. Much older still, got some still lifes and some pieces of just that came from my thoughtful imagination. Not sure where it always comes from. Sometimes that was a little oil can I had, and I did a number of pieces with the Tin Man, the Robot Man. I have things hanging all over the gallery. Sometimes I forget they're there, and then sometimes I make myself go and have a little look, see what's hidden, see what had been important. I run out of space, that's why something like that is hanging in front of other things, just because I found it in a drawer and I wanted to be looking at it again, so the only space I could find. Here's another one of my earlier paintings. It was inspired by an event. I have a lot of equipment, lots of things in pots. I love a pot. I've got lots of objects, past artistic moments in my life. That's one of my college pieces. That's broken one of my college pieces. Lots of books. Lots of drawers with things in. My daughter always says, how do I know where anything is? Half the time I don't. I just open all the drawers to find it. There's stuff stacked right underneath. These great big drawers are also full. This is my main drawer of art stuff. The others tend to be storage of old pictures or frames or logistical stuff for things like Open Studios. Got my framing things. I use this space here as well to place pictures. You can see those little tiny ones up there. What I've done is I've pulled one of the shelves out so that I can actually place a picture on the edge of it. Sort of like it's a bit of a trick. I have objects that mean a lot to me, little collections, strange little paraphernalia that I've picked up. And there are items in some of those boxes as well, things that you might find in one of my old still lifes. I've got some of my art from when I was a student, or when I was still at school even. There, that little one at the bottom. I keep all sorts of things. I made my bin when I was at primary school and I just can't seem to throw it out. I think as artists we do gain attachments to things. Right, I think for now that's everything. Goodbye.